too far. I was reading today, we're not too far off the 60-year anniversary for Star Trek in kind of all its forms, which is kind of remarkable in so many ways. What do you think it is about this kind of franchise, this world, these characters that just has not just kept people coming back for more across 6 decades, but always keeps it relevant and always keeps it kind of like timely to a kind of modern audiences?
Yeah, I'm not sure I know. I I do know that when I was a kid, I didn't tune in to see where they ended up. I tuned in to see where they started each episode, which is a completely different, you know, impetus than most any other TV show. And I think that the show has continued to do that. I think that I think it taps into our sense of adventure as a species and the need to see what's over the next horizon. I don't know if that's the hunter gatherer in us or if maybe that's just particularly American. I don't know, but um, there is there is a sense of adventure that has to be fulfilled with this series, or it doesn't work. And that's one way in which we've chosen to engage ourselves as creators is to wrestle with not just the story that we're telling, but to make the way in which we're telling it an adventure, which is why you see so much genre hopping on our show.
I did some work on Black Mirror last year, some behind the scenes work, and there was a kind of episode which is USS Callister, which is kind of a pastiche of the kind of the Star Trek kind of universe in many ways, and even just being on a kind of fake pastiche of the kind of Star Trek and the Enterprise and everything like that. I was so excited to see all of the kind of buttons and all of the kind of costumes and the whole kind of world kind of come to life. When you're on, I know this is it becomes very much it's still a job. You're sort of you're going to work every sort of day, but when you kind of put on that outfit and you kind of walk onto that set, does that feeling of kind of excitement, is that almost like childlike wonder still sort of, is it, can you still tap into that every single time?
Yeah, it's not difficult. We work with incredibly talented artists in every department. So when you walk onto those sets, you feel like you're on the Enterprise. It's the set. There's very few fourth walls in our sets. Like it's you're surrounded by very well designed sets, and it's a we're just spoiled in that way.
And so we were talking about obviously before about what makes this such a kind of brilliant show, and a lot of it is still the fans. It's got such an insanely and huge fan base right across the world. Just from having played this kind of iconic character that you play, have you had many kind of memorable kind of fan interactions across the years?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In many countries, uh, I'm particularly fond of meeting multi generational families that watch the show together. That's lovely because that's how I discovered the show myself is watching with my mother.
And I love the kind of there's a kind of mission of the week kind of style to this now. And I just wondered because that as a viewer, I love the kind of idea of this kind of something gets set up at the beginning of an episode, and by the end of it, the kind of heroes have to kind of save the day. Is that I'm interested to know because obviously with TV, the kind of long form that is TV, you have this possibility to kind of sort of really expand across a kind of multitude of episodes. But when you are doing kind of stories that have that kind of closure in one episode, does that change the process at all for an actor?
Yes, and that was really our goal with this series. Discovery did exactly what I would have done with the first show in this generation of Star Trek, in trying out a serialized version and and exploring the ship in that way. And I think they did a very good job with that. But for us, because it was a prequel and because it was the original captain, we wanted the show to feel very much Planet of the Week, much closer to the original series. And that's what we've done, while still having some serialized elements. Of course, people tend to fall in love and things like that. But we wanted Planet of the Week, big idea of the week, adventure of the week. Um, you have to have room for that on Star Trek. Um, you have to have room for the big idea of the week. Um, that's why you don't see any of us in the opening credits. You just see the Enterprise.
I did we did some interviews for this sort of a few weeks ago as well, just before the sort of season started, and spoke to some of your kind of co-stars, and they did speak quite highly of this kind of WhatsApp group, this kind of that seems to be going off. Are you quite a prominent force in the WhatsApp group, or are you one of those people that likes to take a bit of a step back and have the people do the talking?
Brother, I got 2 kids. I don't have time to be a prominent force anywhere. I'm not even a prominent force in my own living room. I just follow orders and try to keep my head above water.
Because I was going to ask, in terms of the kind of camaraderie on set, and do you find, as the kind of captain as well, kind of on the ship, that you almost take on that kind of role? Do you assume that kind of on set as well? That
I
role?
don't need to. I don't need to. We managed to hire a lot of very capable adults that are all in charge of their particular character departments. So if anything, I'm blessed to be working with a group of people that are responsible and share a really great sense of humor.
Yeah. And just very finally, then, just how important is that? I mean, I get the sense, or having spoken to your kind of colleagues, that everyone does kind of get on so well when you're making a show like this, which is so much about kind of the spirit of the kind of group at its core. I just wonder about the kind of how important it is to kind of really have that on set and to kind of really try and build that in real life.
It's quite important, and there's some casts you have to work harder at it than others. It's not that difficult with us. We all get along pretty well, which is strange because we don't really hang out that much offset, probably because we spend so many hours on set. But we, for whatever reason, we all have a really good time with each other, which is why we really enjoy the bridge days the most, because we get to spend a lot of time with each other.
Well, I can't wait for when the final episode to kind of air and for everyone to kind of see the conclusion to this great series. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Anson. Much
My pleasure.
Cheers. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey,